to have a roadmap.
Mhm.
First, I want to explain to you what a database is. I don't know if I said it the other time, but let me assume we have not done anything yet. A database, in a layman's term, simplest term, is simply a collection of data in an organized manner. And practically, I usually use this case study of a library, a physical library, not a digital library now, to explain what a database is. In a library, books are orderly kept, as against the one, kids you keep at home, where in most cases you ask your child to get you a particular textbook, except where you intentionally, get them arranged. It's not easy to get books sorted from home, as against a library, because books are ordered in accordance to their categories and the like. So, a database is simply an organized collection of data such that we can easily retrieve from the database, we can easily modify its content, we can easily add to it, and then possibly delete from it. The CRUD operation I talked about the other day, CRUD. So that's the basic operations you could carry out easily on a DB. So that's a database. Again, a database is likened to a school bag. And then we have our tables. Database usually contains tables. Tables hold data in a database. Database is more like the warehouse or the storehouse. And then the data is not directly kept in the database, but are stored in tables. Tables are like your shelves in the library where you keep the book. But the library itself does not hold the book. The shelves hold the book. So that's a database for you. The tables are the tables are the containers of the data. So I could liken a table to mean your notebooks that contains all you have to write or all information you've written, while the database is like a school bag. I guess that description or that explanation is understood. If understood,
Yep.
I push ahead. All right. So although it will be more practical, but for this class and for now, the first few minutes, I'm trying to do a few explanation. Now the last time we met, we looked at the basics of our workbench, and then I've opened it now. We had a connection, we connected. The next thing we do is create a database, which is also called schema. And the icon for creating a database is this cylinder icon here. Create a schema. We've created one. We name our database whatever we choose to. Now we could have more than one databases within the workbench environment. And by the left, you have the navigator where you have your schemas and you also have your administrator instances. But we'll stick to schema, that's our interest at the moment. You refresh it with this icon to see what you have updated. Now, the next thing we want to do is write codes. By codes, I mean SQL queries to get our tasks done. For example, we created a schema, a database, and it's empty. Contains our tables and view and stored procedures. These stored procedures are basically functions. Our interest is tables to play around them, especially as it concerns what you are in for data analytics. So these tables, we have not created any one at the moment. That's why we have nothing here. We're going to do that. To do that, we'll open our query editor. This is it. The SQL you are seeing here. Create a new SQL tab for executing query. Click that, please. I wish you're doing as I'm doing.
1 second. I'm trying to do that.
All right. And if I'm too fast,
Can I just show you what my? So let me show you what I have, and
all
then
right.
I'll stop sharing
All right.
quickly.
That's okay.
Um,
Okay. I should stop sharing then. Apply.
can you see my screen?
Yes, apply.
Just apply. So which one do I choose? Review SQL script or
No, no,
apply
no.
SQL script?
No, no. Down. What?
Just
Just
apply there.
apply there. Exactly.
Okay.
That's it. Close.
Cool. All right. I'll stop sharing then.
Apply. Apply. No, no,
So
you're not done.
apply. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So we're done. You can close this. You could
Ooh.
close. Hmm. That tab.
Close this one.
Yes, close the
Yeah.
tab.
And then go
So what
schema.
did you name
Okay.
it? That's it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Cool. I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Um,
Perfect.
yep.
All right. Thank you. I'll share my screen again. I'll share my tab. Workbench. Share. You can see mine now, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we have. The next thing we want to talk about, having opened a workbench environment and created a new schema. The next thing you could have created that using a query, as in what we did.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done that writing a query. How do you do that? Writing a query. You could have said it's possible to say create database. Then what did you name yours?
Basola as well.
Okay, so like so, and that's it. If we had run this query, still would have run, and we would have been perfect with that. So, but we already have created that. There's no point. And I prefer using the GUI most times when getting started.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay, same thing, same effect would have been achieved. So having done that, the next thing we want to do is create a table within the database. But I said something the other day, if you remember, the first time we had a class, I had to click on the DB in particular, right click on it and set as default schema, remember?
Okay.
Okay, if I'm not doing that, then for every time I want to write a query, I should use the use statement. That's a use statement.
Okay.
Use whether lower or uppercase. The DB name in this instance. So I'm using this. So what it means is that every time anything I want to do moving forward, I'm working on this
Mm-hmm.
environment. Do you get
Mm-hmm.
that? So I will just
Yeah.
run this query, execute it. But most times, personal is a personal preference. You could, if you have multiple database you're working on, it's best to use this. But because I usually stick to one at a time, I come here, right click, set as default. So whatever query I'm running is tied to this. Is that clear?
Okay.
So two
Okay.
ways.
So it's, sorry,
Okay,
the use is to specify the database to be used, Abby.
exactly. The use is to specify the database you're working on. Activate that particular database in such a way that every query that I run is executed within that database.
A database. Okay.
Yeah, and not some other database. We have a lot
Okay.
of databases here. So if I don't do that, it would assume the last one you activated.
Mm-hmm.
So which may not be this. So another option is what I did. Using the GUI, right click, set as default schema. Then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever query I run here is done on this guy. So
Okay.
the next thing we do is to create a table. Let's create a table. Let's create more like a customer table, just a sample table.
So sorry, how do you remove that? If you set it as default schema, how do you remove it as the default schema?
Go to the one you want to set and set as default
I
schema.
set that one as a
Yes,
default one.
that's
Okay,
it.
so you have to have different. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
set whatever,
Okay.
or alternative, you use the use statement. Use maybe killer in this
Okay.
instance. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
Because I've just set the one I've done on my end as a default. So I was just thinking if I want to use another one, how do I?
that's good.
If I want to remove it as the default one.
Yeah, just set the one you want to use as default.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So let's create a table, create our first table. Let's create a sample customer table. How do we do
Mm-hmm.
that? We employ I made mention of the CRUD statement. CRUD. What I did,
Yeah.
yeah, I made mention of this. That's more like
Create, select, insert,
exactly,
update.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're using the create statement to start to create a database, to create a table. That's what we want to do now. So we
Okay.
create table. The syntax is create table and then the table name. In this instance, I'm calling it customer. Just listen, I'll give you time to type so you watch what I'm doing and understand it. So create table, the table name. In this instance, I'm creating a table customer or customers if you like. That's the table name first. Now, the next thing you want to do is define the table attributes. We'll come to later to talk about data types, but before now, let's use a create statement. We'll define the table attributes. For example, I need the table to have an ID, and this ID is going to be integer. It's going to be auto incremental.
Sorry, what's integer?
Int. Okay, I said we were going to talk about data types, don't worry. But integers are whole numbers, whether negative or positive. Integers are defined as whole numbers, whether negative or positive. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So what it means is that I'm using this ID field must be numbers, 1, 2, 3, and the rest. You cannot have a name there. Auto increment primary key. Primary key. I'm defining this field ID. I'm defining the characteristics of this field. It must be an integer. It has to be an auto incremental field, and it is the primary key field of my table. When I'm done with that, if I want to define another field, I'll put a comma. Let me call it a name field, and I'll say it's backup. Don't worry, I said we'll discuss data types in, I think, the next class, or as in the next session of this same Varchar. Varchars are by default generally are
String
strings.
values.
Yeah, exactly. So character length, you define the character length, and I choose to keep it at 100. Okay, let me call it because now name is not okay. Let's continue. Command. I have an ID. I have name. I have a city. What city does this customer belong to? Still Varchar. Um, and then character length still. Let's stick with 100. Um, do we mind giving the customer an age? Let's give him an age. And let's use int for now for the age. I think we're cool with this. Just a simple table. You can go ahead and type if you're not done that.
I'm done.
Okay, let me increase my screen size a little so that you could see that. Okay, now to execute this, we talked about learn to terminate at the end of the line 6 in this instance. We talked about the Thunder client icon. We could execute by highlighting all and using this guy, or put your kusuyo and use this guy. Regardless,
Yeah.
at the moment we have just one query, so anything we do now is right. I'll execute this, and that table is created. How do I know? I have a success information at the bottom of my output. Create table, blah, 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 succeeded. Are we clear? Did yours
Yeah,
run?
but I don't know.
Yours did not run.
Yep. 1 second. I don't know what I've done wrong. Oh, sorry. I put a comma instead of semicolon.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
It's good you're seeing that
yeah.
yourself. You're troubleshooting yourself. You're getting that. Debugging. That's good. Beautiful. I love that. That's how it starts. All right, so we get that. And if you got that correctly, if you refresh these schemas here, your table, you should see the customer. Did you see that?
Yep. Yep.
Beautiful. So we have that now sorted. The next thing most likely want to do is that, let me explain a bit. I said the ID field is a unique identifier. ID, let me explain what we did here. This ID is a unique identifier. What it does simply is that it tells you that it's a primary key. It tells you that no two records should have or would have or is expected to have same ID. When is a key, when is a field said to be a primary key? A field can only be a primary key if that field, if the records in that field are unique. Let me explain a bit. I don't know if that's clear. Your phone number, your phone line, you agree with me that no two persons on earth has the same phone number.
Yeah.
Beautiful. When you were in school, your reg number or your file number as a staff, your staff ID, no two staff has same staff ID. So that's your staff ID. In your company DB, I agree, I want to believe, I don't know who worked on your DB if you have such. Your company DB, your staff ID should be a unique identifier, therefore can be used, if not used, as a primary key field for the record of staff. Because for every staff, the unique identifier of that staff is the ID, staff ID, like your reg number in school, reg school ID. So a unique identifier to every record in a table is what we call the primary key. That's what this ID is here. And then it is wise to have it auto-incremental so that we do not physically or manually input the data there. It auto-generates. System will not have to make a mistake by giving two persons or two records same ID. That's what this just means. Just try to explain what
Sorry,
that
let me
means.
just 1 second. Auto increment means it's automatically generated by the
Yes,
system,
but
right?
yes, and then an addition to it, automatically generated and automatically increments by a certain value which you can define by code, but the default value is
Wait,
one.
automatically generated by the system. And what?
And automatically increments. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use the word increment again. Increases its value. Subsequent records has an increased value by defaultly one, except you otherwise specify.
Automatically increases the value.
By one, default. That's the default setting by one. But you can specify that to give it another value.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what this means is that if we insert a record into this table, first customer, name James Milner, second customer, Mike. First customer's ID will be 1, second customer ID will be 2. The system automatically increases the ID value. That's the auto increment by 1. The default incremental value is 1. But you can, in this place, specify by what value it increments. We'll get to see that later on. Any further question? No.
No, that's fine.
All right. Okay, maybe I should be doing all of this at once. The varchar, we said, is text, and then the int is number. If we're cool, all right, let's go. Having done that, I think there's a code you can actually run, show tables. I think so. That should give you that, if I'm not mistaken. That's wrong. There's a code, show tables. Show
What
tables.
does that give? Sorry.
It should just list the tables with customer. Okay, I think okay, beautiful. Tells you all tables you have in the DB, the selected DB.
Okay.
Did you see that
Yeah.
when you run yours?
I'm just running it.
Okay,
Yeah. Yep.
all right. So you want to know how many tables you have here? You could run that code, show tables, shows you
Mm-hmm.
all of the tables. All right. The next thing we want to do is I didn't tell you something. You can comment a code by doing this. I just did now. So the next thing we want to do is let's insert records into the table. So let's insert data into the table we just created. That's what I want
Okay.
to do. I want to insert data. So to do that, the insert statement, insert into, the table name is customers.
What's the double dash for?
This is a comment.
Okay.
It's not going to execute this line.
Oh
Just
yeah, it's just to keep you make one follow the
yeah,
query, right?
yeah, just to explain to anybody looking at it what is happening here.
Okay.
Insert into customers, and then we specify the fields we want to insert data to. And for now, ID will auto generate. I should have name. I should have city, and I should have age. And then I'll say values. What values am I inserting? Um, Values. What values am I inserting? Um, okay. I could say Jern, Jendo. Um, his city is from Lagos, and his age is 27, for example. Yeah, that's a record created. Could run this. If I run this now, I have the record created. I have a success notification down here in my output section. It shows me successful.
Where does it show successful?
Here, down here, right
The
here.
green, the
Yes,
green tick,
the green
right?
tick,
Just okay,
exactly.
cool.
How's yours? Successful?
I'm just about to run mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Successful?
Yes.
All right. Now, the syntax is this. Insert into the table name.
Sorry, can I stop you there again?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Um. Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Because I was gonna say, how yours as insert customer name, blah 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 blah. But I just realized my columns were eaten, so that's why. But it's okay.
We are hitting out.
Uh,
You want to share your screen?
yeah, I can share my screen.
Okay.
Second.
Stop sharing.
So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So it was like this before, so I couldn't see the action. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But how do I get rid of this bit?
Maximize, let's start with that
Yeah,
first. Look at those icons, top right, top right.
yeah.
Toggle them, like play with them. Good.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, that's it.
Stop sharing.
All right. All right. So that's it. We have a data now created in our table successfully. So we can do multiple inserts. And one of the ways I want to do that is, okay, to insert another row, we can still replicate this by changing this value, the same value.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mercy. Akide, Cross Rivers, Cross Rivers is 43. If I run that, I have another record created. But one could ask, how else can I get this thing done at once? At a go. Run multiple queries at a go. It's possible, very possible. So instead of typing it one, if you have multiple records, one of the things you could do is put this in this way, separate by a comma, and then we have this guy copied, just like this. You insert, you put a comma until you don't want to put a comma again, until you don't have a new record. So let's randomly type in new names.
Okay. 1 second.
Um, enter. Okay. CDF Cager is
Um.
23, and this is Ben Ola Cager 23. This is Abdul Benjamin CDF Sweden. It's 24. And this is Seba Kids. Sorry. If you want multiple record, which you can do later, you could go to chat and give him your, drop just this in chat and tell him to generate data for you. Drop this I highlighted and tell him generate data for this database. It will give you lots of data, but we're not doing that now because I need you to type and get your
Okay.
hands dirty. I'll just run this for mine and it should work. I have my records. So make sure you don't run it more than once, otherwise you will have duplicates of such data.
Okay. Um. Why do I have error?
Sorry. Okay. Customers. Beautiful. Did you
Sorry,
succeed?
I've got another question,
Okay.
but I need to share my screen.
All right. Let me stop
Uh,
sharing. Go ahead and share.
Let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see line 9 here, down here, with the
Okay.
arrow? And it has error code. Blah 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 blah.
Can you read that?
Column does not match value. Yeah. I guess I was only able to fix that because I saw you deleted the open bracket here and down
Okay.
here.
Okay, now yours run, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but how do I like in real world?
Okay.
How do I know what the issue is?
If you know the syntax to start with, that's why you're doing what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
We learn stuff. We learn behavior of systems. We learn how things are constructed. Now you know that when you're trying to do multiple inserts at a go in a single query, after the values, you enclose the record set in brackets and separate them by commas. So initially we ran a single query and
Yeah.
enclosed. So
Yeah.
we made a mistake of replicating that within, and the other brackets were there. That's why you had that error. So what that means is that um, when you had the brackets then the way you had
Mm-hmm.
it, it was now counting each record, that first line 12, is seeing it all as name.
Mm-hmm.
The line 13, all as city. The line 14, all as age. So now you now have a line 15. It cannot tie it to a column, a field. That's why I said four rows. Where's the error again? Column count does not match value count at row 1. I lost you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I lost the screen. Okay. Let me share. Don't worry. I'll share. So if you introduce this, let me do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what this means is that, earlier we had, sorry, I just do something now. Okay. Let me do something. Let me copy this just for explanation. Coming. Now, this is what we have now as a query. This is correct.
Yeah.
Because we said insert into customer's name. This is the name we're inserting. City, this is the city. Age, this is the age. So the column count must match the value count. This is the column 1, 2, 3. Values 1, 2, 3. Column
Yep.
count you set to insert must match the value count you were saying to be inserted. That's what he's saying. Now, when we now did what we did here earlier, by error having a comma, sorry, enclosing this, which I did not remove earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When we had this, what he's saying is that the name is thinking that all of this is the name. The
Okay.
city, all of this is the city. The
Yeah.
age, all of this is the age. Now, where
Yeah.
is this being tied to?
Okay.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
So that's what the error was saying.
Okay.
All right. So, settled. The next thing you should run is run a select query to see all of your records in the table.
What's the select star from
Select all.
customer?
Star represent all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's what it means. Select all. The star is all. What's selecting all? Let me write a comment to that. Selecting all records from the table. Customers. That's what we just did. So if we run that, we have that. So the next thing we want to do is I'd like to do let's select specific columns. Let me write a comment. Selecting specific columns. So we succeeded in creating a database, we succeeded in creating a table, we succeeded in inserting records into our table. At the moment, we have 5 records in mind. I don't know how many you have. So we succeeded in writing a select query to select everything from the table. The next thing I'm doing is that we want to select specific columns. By doing that, by that I mean we want to specify, tell the DB to give me records from a particular field or that, or more than one. So how do we get that done? Same thing we've been doing using the select statement, but in this case, I want to specify by saying select. Now the field name I want, let's say I want to select just the name and the age. I'm not interested in what city the customer is from. I'll select name, comma, age, and then from the customer table. That's it. I'm selecting the name, selecting the age from customers table. If I run this query, I have just the name and the age. Is that clear?
Mm-mm.
It's not clear. I'll take it again.
Sorry. It's saying select record.
Selecting,
I've got an error. Selecting all the records from the table.
what did you, let me see what you did.
Mm.
Select, what happened?
So this is the error that I have.
You're not sharing, like it went off.
I am. Oh, okay. 1 second. Let me share again. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it now. Select is star from customers. What do you have there? Selecting all records. Now, what did you put there? That's
Here.
your comment.
This is.
Your
Mm-hmm.
comment is what the error is. That line,
I'm.
from that selecting all, that comment.
Yeah.
Space the selecting from the double, yeah. Put a latest, no.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was a problem.
Oh, okay.
Run it now. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Hmm. Are you understanding what's happening so far?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Does it look difficult?
It's just I just need to always remember like what to use to start. For example, like the select star or from select the what's the other one?
Select specific column, right?
Use
Select the
yeah,
name of
yeah.
the fields.
hmm
Okay.
And
Now,
how to start the query, what exactly I need to use to start a query. Is
okay.
a use insert, you
Okay.
know.
Now, one of the things you have to know is that these things, the persons who wrote these languages try to use English words that kind of define what they are doing, what the code is doing. For example, I say select, I know I'm selecting. The English word select means to select, like I'm trying to pull from, right? So if I'm creating a table, the syntax is create table. If I'm getting records out of a table, it is select from. If I want to update a table, records in the table is update. I'll use the word update. There's an update, there's delete. So
Is there a list for all of this somewhere?
I could pull them out. Yes, you could Google them, but I could pull them out and give you. However, I'm just giving a general statement. I'm coming. We'll get
Yeah.
to. Yeah. I could pull them out. They are everywhere. Now, select generally is to call records from the table. But when we were selecting, the default select system is to select all, which the star is used. Select star. So that star, you know, indicates the all thing. I'm selecting every field from the table. That's what the star gives you. However, sometimes, especially for complex tables, very large tables, I'm not interested. For example, the biodata of your staff in a particular firm will have quite a lot. The first name, last name, age, phone number, a lot. But now your boss is interested in seeing just the male and the female in the company. Give me the records of all the male and female. Now, he's not interested in their age. He's not interested in their addresses and the likes. So if I want to query the table, I could just select just the first name and the last name and the gender. Probably for maybe they want to share pen, they want to give out the female red pen, something like that. So you are selecting need, based on need. So if I want to select just a couple of fields from the table, the thing I have to do here is specify the field name. This name here now is the name we used, the field we used here while we created the table. So I'm selecting the name, selecting the age. If I wanted the city, I could say select name and then city. Probably I'm not interested in the age of the customers. And I run that, I get just the name and the city. If I'm not interested in naming the fields I want to select, then the next thing I am doing is removing the names and just using the star. It gives me just all. Yes, you're not expected to put all of these things in your head just today. It's a gradual thing. The more you use this query, the more they become you.
Okay.
All right. Having said that, I want to introduce something new as part of what you would always need to do. When I run a select query for all of these, sometimes our database has just 5 records. We don't have much, so it's easily understood that I just run a select all. Sometimes I want to see just the first 3 persons in the record set, first 3 records in the database, first 3 records in the company, first 3 staff rather, registered in the company. What do I do? Or first 3 customers I have in my database. I could select this same select, okay, let me write a comment so you know what I'm doing. Selecting, uh, what's the English term? Okay, let me say limiting results. Even though that's the word we still will use, limiting results. So I'll use the select star from our customers database. However, I'm doing something in addition. I'm limiting the record set to just 2. All of this you could write on one line. Don't mind me that I'm setting to a new line. I like sometimes splitting to a new line because it helps you to understand that the first thing that was done was select, the next thing that you're doing is limiting.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do that and run this query, it gives me just the first two. So if I say limit 3, it gives me the first 3 records. Limit 4, the first 4 records. You may not appreciate this because we don't have too many record sets in our database now in this table.
Mm-hmm.
So if we had thousands of records and you just want to see the first 100 records, limit 100, limit 40, limit just like that. For your kind of work, you need, and I know you do this a lot. Are you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I'm here.
Did you succeed at that? Should I continue?
Yes, I've done that. Yes, sorry.
All right. The next thing we're going to do is that I need you to, we'll do a little classwork because I need you to get your hands dirty. You will create a database now, still in this, sorry, not a database. We already have a database. You will create a table in this database, the same server you created. Create a table within it. I need you to create a table and then create records within it. That's the thing we're gonna do next. How cool is that?
We're about to find out.
All right. So let me write a task for you in let me call it read because I'm recording. So I'll say it so you can write that. Okay. Let me
Okay.
still write it. It's still in this window. Um, call it a classwork. Classwork. There's another comment. You want to read comment. So you have this, and then you have this. That's another way to write comments. Multi-lines comments. Okay.
Okay.
Classwork. Classwork. 1. Creates a table named students. That's the first thing. The second thing to do is that I need you to the student table should have fields ID, name, age, city. Let's replicate what we had earlier. Okay, name students with some fields ID, name, age. What other thing can we add to it? Mm, I want something a little different from what we had. Student ID, students. What could you fetch for students?
Class.
Class. Okay. Okay. Let's pick up a class. All right. If you do that correctly, the next thing is that you should insert 3 to 4 records. Insert 3 or 4 records into the student table. And then the next thing you should do is retrieve all records. I think we'll stop at that. If you succeed in doing that, we'll move to the next thing. Retrieve all records. Retrieve all records. All right, try that, please.
Okay.
If you need me to see your screen, which I think is okay, or I should wait till you're
I'm
done.
coming.
Okay.
I am coming.
No, go ahead, no problem.
I can share my screen. New page class.
Can close this result grid so you have a bigger view for what you're doing.
How do I close that?
Look where you have the customer down before the output, before the action. Good.
Yeah.
Look at the console. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Why is this? Okay, I'm not sure
Hold
why
on,
this is
hold on,
not
hold on,
working.
hold on. Whenever you're writing your create insert statement, having after defining the last field, you don't put a comma. That's why you have that.
This one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I did up here. No, I didn't. Okay.
Same
Okay.
when you are writing an insert statement, to specify records. After the last record, you don't put a comma. Putting a comma,
Okay.
the
Okay.
system thinks you want to add something new.
Okay. So the next thing is to insert a record. Do I need to show table or not?
It's for your own consumption. If if the query executed successfully, then you don't need to show table. You
Okay.
just did that to show. You can still view the table from your, the left hand side from
Okay.
your.
So if I
Yeah.
refresh it, I should have a student
Exactly.
table here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So now I want to select insert record. So I need to insert. And
I'm not seeing your screen. Lost out
I don't
again.
know why it stopped. Let me keep going. Share screen. Let's see.
Should have paused this recording since because from my end nothing is happening. Kai,
Oh, okay.
I should have done